There's been a trade. Coach Nelson said I could buy 2 of his minutes. So I appreciate his minutes, but I'll give them back to him later on. But when I got this call to be inducted and enshrined in this Hall of Fame, I was at my parents' house. Me and my sisters were there. And, I got the call a couple times before that, didn't make it. So I was just hanging out on a Wednesday and not knowing you're supposed to be somewhere they're gonna call you on that day, and I wasn't around. So they left a voicemail message, and I called them the next day, and they said, you've been inducted for enshrinement or selected for enshrinement into the Hall of Fame. So I kind of stopped in my tracks and told my mom and dad, get ready to travel, and you got an event to go to in September. So it's kind of very surreal, didn't know what to expect. Been watching this thing on TV every year with all the greats that play this game, and words can't really describe how I feel or how I appreciate being beside all the greats that played this game in this Hall of Fame. My journey, my mission basically to play the game of basketball. I didn't really love basketball when I was younger. I loved baseball. And I learned how to value the game of basketball. I put a high value on the game. And once I did that, because we had my high school coaches here, I started out playing on an 8-foot basket, and you could only score 16 points. I was 6'4". 16 points came easy in the first quarter. And then you couldn't score anymore. So I learned how to rebound, I learned how to block shots, and I learned how to dribble at a very early age. And if you understand, I come from a small town of Harrisonburg, Virginia, all we did was play basketball. And I give all the respect, and he knows it as well, to my high school coach, because he kind of helped me along the way. They said there was a skinny young kid over on Myrtle Street that is tall, weighs about 150 pounds, soaking wet, and could play a little bit, but really didn't like the game at that point in time. I learned to love the game. I learned to value it at a very high level. So if I have something to leave with you, I value the game to the highest level that you can value the game to. And when they told me, and Fran called me and said, you got to pick some people to stand up for you. Well, these are my 2 boys. And, I'm sure they didn't think I was going to bring them up, but I put a high value on my children, and they know it as well. I would bring my girls up here as well, but this is a boys' night. This is the fellas, and I go from there. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. In respect to that, though, I also want to give much thanks to the committee, the board, and the class of 2012. There's a lot of synergy for me within the class of 2012 with Coach Don Nelson. I think one of the most innovative coaches that ever coached the game. Me and Chris Mullen probably know that as well. You can only imagine, I'm 7 foot tall at the 3-point line, like me and Manute at that level. Coach Nelson says, get the ball. We had Larry Smith, everybody knows Mr. Mean. Throw the ball off the backboard, bank pass, and he's going to turn and get the rebound. Don't shoot it, just throw it off the glass. So that's how innovative he was at that point in time. And, God knows, I think you remember that play, Coach, from that standpoint. And Molly, I'm sure you do as well. So having the opportunity to go in with Coach Nelson, Hank Nichols, I hope you got your referee whistle in your pocket somewhere. He tells me all the time that during the course of a college game, I grabbed the backboard and swung a dunk, and the next year he made this rule, you can't grab the backboard. You can't grab the rim, can't grab the backboard, what I'm supposed to do, from that standpoint. But anyway, going in with Coach Nelson and Hank Nichols and Jamal Wicks, we'll have some ties with the Golden State Warriors as well. And Reggie Miller and the rest of the crew is very special for me. And I know me and my children and family and friends will enjoy it forever. When you look at the game of basketball, again, I value it at a very high level. You have to go back and look at the guys that made this game great. And I always appreciated the guys that made it great. I think the guys today, if you look at where this game has come from to where it is today, you got to look at these guys right here. You know, with all due respect, they asked me, and Frank called me and said, what guys you want? You can pick as many as you want. I said, well, the first one was Bill Russell. I got a chance to meet Bill Russell when I was in college, and we became good friends after that. And if you talk to Bill, you know what I'm talking about. He's going to laugh and give you that laugh he has and tell you all kinds of stories. I got a chance to play for him at Sacramento. And I think, unbeknownst to everybody, Bill Russell, we all would agree, is one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk this earth. And without Bill Russell, without Bill in this game, it's very hard to say what the game would be like. The next, Kareem. You know, I look at Kareem and when I was young, he took his time out. I don't know if you remember Kareem or not, but took time out. He met me in Washington, D.C. at an early breakfast. He had playing a game against the Bullets or somebody, and he met me. We went for breakfast, and I remember that day when I was coming up and, you know, had the chance to meet somebody like that. At that point in time, my career was amazing. And then you look at the doctor, you know, somebody that everybody emulated the doctor. You know, all over the world. You know, still today, you have the doctor, and George's way, I would come up to Philadelphia and had some family and friends that lived up there. They said, you got to come up and see the doctor, come to a game. So, you know, I value these guys highly. And then you look at Charles. But Mike, don't look at his golf game. But over the years, I can remember John Lucas, and we had a first exhibition game against Philly and Charles, and you know, Charles was shorter than me, but we started throwing lobs and dunks, and I was learning to appreciate Charles' game at that point in time. One of the best at his size ever to play the game, and I love Charles to death and how he appreciates the game and values the game as well. So I appreciate these guys being here. Magic just spoke whatever, he's still mad at me, but you know, they always talk about this shot. And I had a great chance when Hakeem got kicked out the game, and we had a great battle against the Lakers. Shot went in, one of the best highlights of my career, but you have to understand my journey took me through, and Coach Riley out there, I'm sure understands this as well. Coming out of high school and college, I had a chance at one point in time to go to the Boston Celtics. When they had Robert Parrish and McHale and Bird, and I had a chance to go there, and I stayed in school. One year, Isaiah, sitting over there, I mean, Isaiah go way back to the greatest class of high school, 79. He called me, he's going to Detroit. Are you coming out? Are you staying in? Are you coming out? And I didn't know at that point in time, and Isaiah goes to Detroit. James Worthy, if I'd have came out that year, Magic, maybe Pat would have picked me. I don't know, but at that point in time, you know, we have no clue. So it would have been fun to play at that level, but you know, things worked out, I'm sure, for everybody. And my journey has taken me such a long way. My high school coach, I love to death, and his wife were with me. What can I say? I was recruited by a lot of schools, had the opportunity to be with somebody that was very innovative at a very young age. I was lifting weights early on in the old knowledge machines and other machines, whatever. We did some innovative things, let me dribble up the court. One of my high school teammates here, Joe Estock, and Joe and I go way back in our high school days and love him to death, and I'm glad he's here as well, and with his wife, but great teammates in high school. And obviously, what can I say, in the college years, Coach Terry Holland, I got Miss Holland here with me, Coach Fred Luke Page, Valerie Ackerman, that you guys know from the WNBA years, but she was a athlete as well at UVA on the women's side, and love her to death as well. But we had some great times at UVA. I stayed in school because, one, I was on schedule to graduate. Two, my parents were fine. And three, I really loved the game of basketball at that level. You know, although Magic had a coin flip, commissioner, and back then they had a coin flip. If I'd known I was coming to Lakers, it might have been a different story. Me and Kareem would have played together. We had two 7-footers that could play. It would have been good. So I enjoy the game immensely. I enjoy the opportunity to be inducted in Enshrinement. Sometimes I don't feel I'm worthy of that, but let the game speak for itself and people speak for less. But I appreciate the opportunity. I was watching Kareem and his induction, and I went back and watched everyone's up here and says, we have to appreciate the game for the younger guys. And the younger guys appreciate the game and give back. These guys gave back to me when I was younger. Sat down, spoke to me. I remember calls from Bill Walton when I was at Sacramento, as well when I was going through some knee injuries. And I think we as older guys have to give back to the younger guys and make them understand what this game is really all about. And it's a very special game. See LeBron out there, congratulations on the Olympics. I've known of LeBron for a long time in AAU circles years ago, but as somebody that appreciates the game, and I respect what you do and go from there. Michael, obviously, you should have came to Virginia, but it didn't work out. And I was telling somebody earlier that you should have. What if Houston would have drafted not Akeem Olajuwon, but Michael Jordan? I said, well, me and Mike would have played together. They wouldn't have been a Chicago Bull. What if they'd have traded to Portland? They got Sam Boyd. Well, Sam, good as he was, and a couple injuries there, they may have made the wrong pick. So, and it all works out in the end. It all works out in the end. And then for my boys to be here, I want them to experience this whole set. From just understanding how to appreciate the game, because understanding the kids today, you can't buy this. There's no money in the world that I can put up in front of these guys and you guys that will put me here. It's called hard work. And everybody that's been enshrined in here, that will ever be enshrined in here, it's the work ethic that you have to get here. And I never played to be here. I wanted to be the best every day I could be. When you got to play against Magic and Kareem and you're going out of the court against that Scott Hook, you better damn sure ready to become the play. And the last thing is not least, I always was appreciated, Artis Gilmore. And Big A, when I was first in the league, if all of us big guys, Kareem would contest it, Artis probably is the strongest human being that you ever meet. Please do not shake his hand. Okay? He will crush your hand. So I played an exhibition game down in Virginia. Artis took his left hand, took my waist, and moved it wherever he wanted to. Okay? But he told me, he said, get a little lower on the court. Just from a saying, get a little lower, be a little tougher, run up down the court a little bit on the court. So I remember that. And I remember our first NBA game in Houston was against Artis. And me and Rodney McCray and the crew always wanted to dunk on you because it's hard to dunk on Artis Gilmore. One of the strongest human beings that ever played the game. But I thank you so much, all the inductees, congratulations. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My boys, I'm sure, appreciate it as well. And again, I don't really can express the words to say to be in the likes of these guys and you guys as well. Thank you again so much to my family, friends from the city of Harrisonburg. Love you all. And I will definitely respect and do all the things that a Hall of Famer should do. And I appreciate it.